You know, in Revelation chapter 11, he talks about the two witnesses. It's a popular subject. You know, in verse 3, he says, I will grant the power of prophecy to my two witnesses for 1260 days, dressed in sackcloth. These are two olive trees and two lampstands which stand before the Lord of the earth. If anyone attempts to injure them, fire pours from their mouth and consumes their enemies. If anyone attempts to harm them, thus he is doomed to be slain. These two witnesses have the power to shut up the sky so that no rain may fall during the day of their prophesying. And they also have the power to turn the waters into blood and to smite and scourge the earth with all manner of plagues as often as they choose. Well, a lot of people wonder who the two witnesses are. You know, some people say, well, it has to be Elijah and it has to be Enoch because, you know, Elijah never died. He was taken up in the whirlwind, you know, in the chariot, and Enoch never died. He was not, for God took him. And I would say to you that, yes, no problem with it being Elijah, but I would say the other one would be Moses. And there's several reasons for that. Well, one is in the last chapter of Deuteronomy, Moses didn't get to go over to the promised land. Joshua went over. And God told Moses, you're not going to the promised land. And Moses died there. I think it says opposite Moab. And it says that God himself buried Moses. And he always called Moses, my servant Moses. You know, Moses established the law and the blowing of trumpets, the feast days, so many things that established Israel and how they were to proceed. And, you know, so God buries him there. And then you have in the book of Jude, you have this prophecy that says, let me read it to you real quick. In verse 9, he says, but even the archangel Michael, contending with the devil, judicially argued about the body of Moses. He dared not presume to bring an abusive condemnation against him, but he simply said, the Lord rebuke you. So here God buries Moses over there. He didn't go into the promised land. God himself buried him. And then we see Michael has the body of Moses and Satan don't like it. So he's arguing with him about the body of Moses. So what does Michael say to Satan? Well, the Lord rebuke you. In other words, hey, take it up with the boss. He's the one that told me to go get the body of Moses. And see, so, you know, centuries later, you have Moses and Elijah on the Mount of Transfiguration. We call the Mount of Transfiguration, where Jesus was transfigured before Peter, James, and John up on the mountain, right? And you have Moses and Elijah appearing when Jesus is transfigured, and they're talking about Jesus' exit from Jerusalem. Moses, Elijah, and Jesus. And so Moses brought the law. Elijah was a prophet of prophets. So you have the law and the prophets. And you would say, well, it's appointed a man once to die. Yeah, okay, it says that. It's appointed a man once to die. But Lazarus died twice. He died twice. There were other people, children that Jesus brought back to life. There was the widow's son that Elijah brought back to life. They died twice. All those people died twice. But it's appointed a man once to die. Well, That's not a hard and fast rule. I mean, Paul said, we shall not all die, right? But we shall be changed in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye. For this perishable must put on imperishable. So if you're going to stick with the argument that it's appointed a man wants to die, then why does Paul talk about this? Why does Paul talk about harpazo, a rapture, a catching away, right? If that's the case, if you're going to stick with it's appointed a man wants to die in your argument that it can't be Moses as one of the two witnesses, then there can't be a rapture either. You see where I'm going with that? So I would submit to you, and in Revelation chapter 11 there, they're smiting the earth with all manner of plagues as often as they choose. Well, turning the water to blood sounds like Moses, doesn't it? Yes, it does. When it says that they shut up the sky so that it doesn't rain, well, isn't that what Elijah did? So Elijah, Moses, turning the water to blood, smiting the earth with all manner of plagues. And I'll tell you this, at the time they're here, Moses did establish the trumpets. And they're here at the same time, right? Here's the two witnesses as the trumpet judgments. I would think Moses and Elijah have everything to do with the trumpet judgments. And you know, at the end of it, when they're killed, Moses is dying twice. Well, as we establish, you can do that. Or not die at all. So that appointed a man wants to die, it's not a hard and fast rule. We have a Redeemer, and his name is Jesus.